It's a historic moment in a dark chapter of Canada's past. Over 100 years, 150,000 Aboriginal children were forced from their homes into institutions called residential schools. It was a government policy called aggressive assimilation, but its legacy is one of brokenness and abuse. Church denominations that ran the schools have issued many apologies, and the federal government has agreed to a $1 billion settlement for school survivors. But putting the generations of pain and grievances into words or dollar figures is hard to do.
And we don't have the words to get around our feelings.
And that's why some are looking to a higher power than the government for justice and reconciliation. In 1995, Liberal MP Elijah Harper called for a sacred assembly of Native government and church leaders.
There needs to be a healing in the land and in the people. There needs to be reconciliation, restoration, and restitution. Because of our relationship with the Creator and this land, this is a spiritual process, a sacred process. And this is the reason why we have called a sacred assembly.
A notion that former Prime Minister Jean Chrétien echoed.
Mr. Harper, you have found a new way. Spirituality is missing a lot in our society. And spirituality is absolutely needed to find the right way.
Since then, other groups such as Watchmen for the Nations have caught the vision of a healed Canada, where broken covenants, relationships, and spirits can be restored through repentance, restitution, and a higher love.
We receive your repentance.
On reçoit votre repentance.
Before God and all mankind.
Devant Dieu et tous les hommes.
We forgive.
Et on pardonne.
The ground leading up to today's apology has been broken with many tears and prayer, and undoubtedly many more to come.
Therefore, on behalf of the Government of Canada and all Canadians, I stand before you in this chamber so vital, so central to our existence as a country, to apologize to Aboriginal peoples for the role the Government of Canada played in the Indian residential schools system.
What I find most encouragement is that we're actually talking spiritual language here. This is, to me, is unheard of. That the courts, the government, the churches, and the First Nations are all talking the same language.
And each former Indian residential student must make a choice, either a choice to forgive or a choice not to accept it. But that should not be taken as something bad, because each one has their own journey.
If the government didn't apologize, how are we going to forgive? So in a sense, this apology, the government is asking probably for forgiveness, and we have to respond.
The Government of Canada sincerely apologizes and asks the forgiveness of the Aboriginal peoples of this country for failing them so profoundly.
The memories of residential schools sometimes cut like merciless knives at our souls. This day will help us to put that pain behind us.
But a new day has dawned. A new day heralded by a commitment to reconciliation.
This is a day for all Canadians. It's a day for us to move forward.
This has no doubt been an emotional, historic day for all of Canada.
Bringing resolution to the legacy of the Indian residential schools lies at the heart
of reconciliation and a renewal of relationships with Aboriginal people who attended these schools, their families, and communities.